Broadcasting the boisterous part of the fastest game in the world. Well, strap on your lids and lace up, Rook. You're listening to the Barn Chirpers Hockey Podcast. Take a lap!
Yeah, clap it up, boys.
Welcome our newest signing, the enforcer, Corey Gear Freak himself. Welcome to the team.
Hey, thanks, man.
I mean, you were already part of the team, but you decided to take a leave of absence, and we put you on waivers, and now you're back on the squad.
Yeah, it's like that. I'm waiver.
Because nobody wanted you because you're from Philly.
Nobody wanted me. I was just going to say, yeah, I'm almost like, I don't know, Nick Delorier or somebody.
We sent you down to Scranton.
Yeah, and the AHL was like, no.
Wilkes-Barre Scranton Pens there, and brought you back up, and here you're back on the squad. So welcome, you're back part of the team.
Thanks, pal.
Just kidding. You'd never not be on the team. Just kidding.
That's right. That's right.
I love you too.
So you're always on the team. Hey, follow us, everybody, at Barn Chirpers Pod. Chirp us. Talk shit to us. Oh crap! I broke the rule. Corey, we're not supposed to swear.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard for me.
PG. I know. That's why I'm reminding you right now. But hey, even though I let that one slip early, at Barn Chirpers Pod on the Instagram, more than likely you're probably talking to Justin or Corey. I'm not going to be there. You can chirp at me and they'll let me know, and then we can chirp back and forth on the show, just so everybody knows.
Yeah. Swearing is allowed in the comments there.
In the comments for sure, just not on the air.
Yeah, just trying to not do that on the air because I don't know, maybe Norfolk Admirals will throw that.
Hey, shout out to Norfolk Admirals. We'd love to be a part of that squad.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's looking more and more like that's probably going to happen. I need to reach back out to Brandon. Brandon, if you're listening, we love you.
What up, Brandon?
What up, man? What up?
So let's get the first line in here, man. Come on, let's do it. Last year you went everywhere, man. You went everywhere.
Everywhere. I went on 4 trips last year for the Barn Arena tour. There, as a longtime hockey fan, I've always had it on my bucket list to go to every single arena that the NHL had to offer, and I've been talking about it for years and years. And I realized before last year, like, dang, I've literally only been to 2 places. What am I doing with my life? I am going to go to at least 4 this year, and I did. So, and so I've been to Cap One in Washington D.C. to see the Capitals many times. Mm-hmm. And I went to PNC to see the Hurricanes in 2022. So those technically don't count to this arena tour, but they are a part of the entirety because, hey, we like stats and stuff. I have a ranking system for the arenas. Now,
we love a good list.
We love a good list and a good explanation. But so it wasn't until, and we'll get to this when we get there, of course, when we went to Smashville, where my rankings really developed more. Mm-hmm. So in the previous arenas, those previous barn visits, the rankings, there's not necessarily the same amount of points available, to kind of throw that out there. But so what I ranked on was the outside area of the arena, okay, the inside of the arena, naturally, the availability of history to the arena, that could also incorporate outside or inside the arena, food, what kind of food and snacks and stuff do we have available, and then another important one was accessibility to the arena, how easy it is to get there, and then the final ranking system is community. What was the vibe like? What were the fans like? You know, all that good stuff. So again, some of these don't have all of those because I didn't know what the system was at that point. Like DC, I had to really go back and think about that. PNC, I really had to go back and think about that because I didn't do the same things that we did like in Smashville and Nashville. And then when I went on my Florida trips, like I didn't walk around all that stuff. So I had to really think about it. So essentially some of these have a possibility of a score of 30 would be the best. Some of them only have 20. Some of them only have 25. So let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
So naturally, I'm going to start off with Washington, D.C., Capital One Arena. Again, I've been there at least for 6 games that I can recall. That, of course, is the Washington Capitals Arena. And let's just get right to it. The outside, woof. Getting to downtown DC is very challenging.
It is cumbersome.
If you are going to drive, I suggest you don't. I suggest you go park at one of the many stations and take the metro into Cap One. That is very easy to do. That is my suggestion. And I've done that before, and that is the most accessible way to get to Cap One. But if you're driving, good luck, friend. But it is in downtown DC. There is a lot of places to go inside and outside of Capital One Arena, which is fun. Not necessarily anything super cool into regard to as like, oh, this is the Caps bar. They don't really have that. But there's plenty of things to do inside of Cap One Arena. There's a movie theater. There is a bar area, a restaurant, but it's not necessarily this is the Caps bar, which put a pin in that because when I get to Pittsburgh, that comes up. But so I gave the outside of DC Cap One Arena a 3 out of let's pause 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a 3 out of a possible 3 out of 5 on this one. 3 out of 5. Sorry,
okay.
I didn't mention that.
Overall,
some of these have a top score of 30, but it's based on a 1 to 5 ranking. Okay.
So I also wanted to mention because we went to see Blink-182 at Cap One. And this was my first foray into Cap One. And I know what
you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
Well, it's about history.
Well, yeah, you've got that covered. But on the outside, we went to that restaurant there, and there's a band playing there, and the band sounded fine, but we're there to see Blink-182. And how do you not like bust out so much pop punk?
Yeah.
But they basically were like, hey, let's look at this 90s playlist and just play a bunch of 90s songs. It's like, yeah, cool, you're wrong.
Yeah. Who wants a cover band?
Exactly. I mean, like I said, there is a really nice restaurant inside of Cap One too. So there is places and things to do before the game. The inside of Capital One Arena. They have a cool sticks setup of the squad on the first level there. So whoever's on the current squad, I don't remember from past years, but currently right now they have everybody's stick of the squad and what stick they use. They have hat trick alley, so everybody that's scored a hat trick, they've had in a big like bin of those pucks of hat tricks that have been scored. So that's a cool little gimmick that I thought. There is a lot of bullets and wizards stuff all around the arena. Even the O'Brien Trophy is displayed. But you know what's not displayed is the Stanley Cup.
For
the Stanley Cup winning Washington Capitals in 2018. As a matter of fact, it's a pretty basic just setup on the first level and the third level of Cap stuff, just basic photos and stuff. There's no like championship area. There's no, hey, we finally did it after all these years. And to that point, there might be, or when we were going up the escalator, we saw it on the second level, the suite level, that there seemed like there was some type of tribute or something to that, but we couldn't get there.
Right. They wouldn't let us.
That's only for rich people.
Yeah, we got yelled
exactly.
at.
Yeah, so, I was there well before the Cup, so it's shocking to me. I went there in 2013. This is when Vinny LeCavalier was a Flyer, so that was fun for nobody. But yeah, I'm shocked to know that they don't have something for the
inside
Cup.
Is more
a couple of years ago. Yeah, wow.
There's a lot more wizards and bullet stuff, which is crazy that there's more bullet stuff because they're the Wizards now, correct?
We had to change the name because it was offensive.
Exactly. So, but there's more bullets gear than there is Cap stuff, which is just crazy. So bizarre. The inside, if you're keeping track here, inside gets a 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5.
That's about right.
To the same with history here, it's getting a 1 because there's I'm getting into 1 because there's Wizards and Bullet stuff, but there's no Cap stuff. So there is history in the arena, but it's not Cap stuff. So I give it a 1. There's not much to celebrate for a team that finally did it, and that upsets me. So
no locks of Joey Juno's hair.
Not even like, I don't know, Ole Kolzig's mask or something.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that gets a 1. Food, just your basic stuff. Chicken tenders, burgers, fries. It gets a 1 because there's food available. Like I gave it a score.
They have to serve it there legally.
Yeah, it's available.
It's sustenance.
Nothing fancy there. So again, going back to kind of my first thing about accessibility, downtown DC technically is great, like I said, but however, getting to DC is tough. So there is parking at the arena as well if you're prepared to pay $30. Again, it's also on the backside of the arena. So unless you know exactly where you're going, you're going to be like Justin and I looking around like, is this the spot? Nope, I guess that's not it. So yeah, I would say, again, take the Metro in. You're going to have a much better time doing that because the Metro is fun. You get off before – it's almost like I want to say it's like a skywalk to Cap One, so that's kind of fun too. So anyway, accessibility, it gets a 2 because if you get to DC on a good day, you won't sit in traffic very long. Like when we just went up for not hockey, but for the concert, like we got in pretty easily. It wasn't terrible, but if you get stuck on a rush hour day in DC, good luck. So 2 out of 5 there for accessibility. Community, the last thing here. There is a lot of options pre and post game to party. Like I said, so plenty of stuff to do inside of Cap One Arena. You could go outside of the arena and walk any which way, and you're going to find a spot to go. So that's fun. But again, there's not really like a Caps bar. And every time I've been there since 2015, it has been a full barn for hockey games. So I would like to see it. I haven't. Let's see. I did go last year, and they were still. That was in October, so early season. That was packed. I would like to go up like now when they didn't make the playoffs and see if it's still packed. And I would also like to see it when they suck to see if it's packed, to see what the true community is. So community gets a 5 out of 5 though. So with an overall score for Cap One Arena being 14 out of 30, which is not great.
No,
not great at all. All right. Anything to say about Cap One, guys?
I kind of thought it was bizarre. It's almost in like a strip mall. It's not a standalone building, which is very weird. But yeah, like I said, I was there back in 2013. So if anything's changed in, 10 years, I wouldn't know. But the barn itself was nice. It was just kind of the setup was a little wonky.
Yeah, no, it's a great arena for watching and playing hockey. Like it's a great arena for anything. There's not a bad seat in the house.
Right. Absolutely.
That's what I was going to say is we were way up at the top for blank. And strangely enough, that was still a really good seat.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I've seen concerts there. I've seen hockey games there. I've watched and been a part of WWE there. So like, it's a great arena. All right. Moving on to Carolina. Again, I had to do a lot of thinking on this one because again, the barn tour, I didn't really, when I went in 2022, I didn't really have, this is the things I was going to do. So all I remember, Carolina doesn't get any scores, by the way, because I couldn't really remember truly. I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. There was a lot of tailgating, I remember. So like the community seems pretty, into the Canes down there. They were tailgating like crazy. Like, because I went to the Commanders when they were the Redskins versus the Eagles back in like 17 or 18, I forget.
No birds.
And like that NFL tailgating scene, right? That's how it was outside of PNC Arena in Carolina. And that
impressive. Raleigh represent.
Like, wow. All right, cool.
Yeah, that's rare for a hockey game, but awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Also, when I went, they were playing the Mustard Cats. They played the Preds.
Hey.
Nice.
And that was a full barn. That was a Saturday afternoon. So it was a packed house for that. Same thing. Not a bad seat in the house at PNC Arena. Again, I didn't really do the walk around because I didn't know what the barn tour was at that point. So I couldn't tell you what history was. But accessibility to the arena is really easy. It's essentially not right in downtown Raleigh, but just slightly outside, but really easy to get to. They have a massive parking lot, so parking was simple. Obviously, you had to pay, but instead of going like trying to find a garage, like I like that big open lot feel way more. Food, I couldn't really tell you. I don't remember, so they don't get a ranking on that. But overall, I do want to go to PNC again so I can get a better feel of, history and all that stuff too. But again, community-wise, I think they love I think Canes fans love the Canes. Truly, I really think that they do. And I don't want to give Bettman a stick tap, but I feel like they did do pretty well in building hockey in North Carolina.
Isn't that wild?
It's like it's better than the idea felt in '97. And it helps that they're good.
It's better than we thought like a year ago. We thought Raleigh didn't care.
Dude. And it does seem like just from watching games.
And then they
on
sold
TV,
out the Winter Classic.
Yeah. It seems like it would be a fun place to watch a game.
Mm-hmm. I almost went because the Devs played them in the second round, obviously. I almost went to game 2 because there was available tickets on the cheap.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, if this wasn't a Wednesday, I'd go.
Yeah, dude.
I do remember, so like PNC is very like, how we'll get to this in a couple here. When we went to Bridgestone, how steep it was, that incline. PNC is very steep. So like my buddy, he had back surgery a couple months before we went there. So he was fine and recovered and whatnot, but going up that steep incline was really tough for him because he just had back surgery. It's so steep, and you do feel like you could fall backwards and take a tumble. So just a word for the wise. It's very steep if you're going to go watch up on the 300 level, bring your hiking boots because it is a little bit of a climb, but not a bad seat in the house there either. Okay, moving on. So my first actual trip of this past season was to Pittsburgh to see the Pittsburgh Penguins play the Vegas Golden Knights. So again, this is some of these rankings don't necessarily play a part because I didn't know what the Barn Tour was at that point. Outside, they have a statue of Mario Lemieux, which is cool as hell.
Of course,
Other than that, I didn't see anything else, but also at the same time, I wasn't really looking for it. But I saw a statue of Mario right outside, so that gets 5 out of 5 for me. Like, he's the legend.
Mm-hmm.
Immortalize him. Boom. That's all I need really for outside. The accessibility, it's in downtown. I walked from my hotel. My hotel was about it was probably like almost a mile walk right from my hotel. But I mean it's brightly lit. There's a lot of stuff happening all over the place. So it's an easy walk. In when did I go? In December. Probably not the thing that you want to do in Pittsburgh in December is walk that far, but it was easy to get to. So it was bright, it was open, and literally, I feel like if there was a zoom out version to look down from space, it's like centrally located in it's PPG Paints Arena, centrally located in downtown Pittsburgh. So there's buildings and stuff all around it. There's not interstates, but roads all around it, so easily accessible. Again, I didn't have to drive there, so I don't know what that's like, but I mean, again, my hotel was close, so 5 out of 5 there. History, let me start inside first. It's very bright, super open, and lines moved so quickly. They have this is the first time I saw this like grab and go self-checkout service for alcohol.
Okay.
They have one attendant making sure you don't steal. You pop in there, grab whatever you want, bing, bang, boom, self-checkout, you're out of there. It's so fast.
Respect.
You don't have to worry about those Stripe readers and, like a cashier that can't understand how to work a card. It's so fast, like lightning speed, dude. So that inside, what else? I didn't look around much. So that kind of plays into history as well because I did get there a little bit late. I wanted to see pregame. So I got there a little bit late when they were already almost done with pregame, so I didn't really walk around a whole lot. I mean, I did from first level to get all the way up to my nosebleed in the third level, but inside gets a 3 out of 5 because again, bright and open, and that grab and go service really got me. So I love convenience. Do not inconvenience.
Absolutely.
So 3 out of 5. If I didn't mention it, the accessibility, 5 out of 5, if I didn't say that. History, like I said, I didn't really have a whole lot of time to walk around, which is a bummer. But again, the statue outside of Mario, that's pretty dope. And then just knowing that they won 2 cups in that barn, it was pretty cool to me. Technically it was Mellon Arena, renamed PPG now, but it was really cool to know that they have 2 cups to their name. And I'm watching again. I'm not a Pens fan. Shout out to Tina. I love you so much.
Yeah.
But seeing Sidney Crosby play, like, that's a pretty big deal. Seeing Sidney Malkin play, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
These guys are,
I hate saying that, but yeah.
You know what I mean? But, like, they're legends. They're legends.
Absolutely.
So I get 3 out of 5 for the history there. Food. So inside the arena was very basic, but earlier in the day, I went to a little place called Primanti Bros.
Oh, yeah.
In Pittsburgh, which is famous for their sandwiches. Bro, I had 2 of the best sandwiches that I've ever had in my entire life.
Did you eat them standing up?
Well, yeah, obviously. and so they had this little I crushed 2 of them. I crushed a regular pastrami, right?
Oh, I love a good pastrami, dude.
Yeah, and then I crushed one of their. It was like an egg Sammy or whatever, but like the way that they do it. And the owner was talking to me. She's like, if you get the 3rd one, it's like their 3 top sandwiches and they're massive, right? She's like, if you get the 3rd one, it's on the house. And I was so full. I was like, dude, I want to because I love a challenge, but I can't do it. But anyway, arena food was basic. But if you go to Primanti Bros, you're going to have the best time of your life. So 5 out of 5 for food. Kind of ipso facto here. Obviously, it's not in the arena, but 5 out of 5 for food there. Community. Crowd was loud. Near a sellout. It was a Thursday night. Thursday night versus a non-rival, the Vegas Golden Knights, before we knew that they were going to win the Stanley Cup, obviously.
Yeah, right.
And there was a lot of places to eat and drink before and after the game. And I said, talk about a pin from the Caps. They literally have a Pens bar right across the street.
Nice.
That's where you go and get rowdy right before you go to the game. Like, that's a literal thing. Like, this is the Pittsburgh Penguins bar.
I would love to go there and flyer stuff.
Yeah, for real. Get in a fight, get a little scrap. So again, while I have no allegiance to the Pittsburgh Penguins, I think that's really cool that the community of that. So that gets a 5, like I said. So PPG Paints Arena, the Pittsburgh Penguins gets a 26 out of 30.
Wow.
Good God.
I know, right?
High score.
It's a high score. That's the highest score right now.
Yeah.
Okay. We are to my second trip, which involved you guys being Nashville, Bridgestone Arena. So I've been talking long enough. Why don't you guys give a couple notes here? If we start, let's start like accessibility, getting there.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, there weren't any issues. There were parking garages.
It's not that bad means it's probably that bad.
I mean, we went the parking garage route, which is always fun. You feel like you might get murdered in one of those, but it was. I mean, I would say, but it was.
But I think that's clutch. It
makes sense.
It was very visible. You knew exactly where you had to go.
Absolutely.
To park. It wasn't a guessing game. Like, this is parking at the arena. This is how much it's going to cost.
Yep.
Absolutely. And it's right in downtown Nashville. So there's a lot going on there, as we found out after the game. But the parking garage has definitely come up big. I would say probably a 4 out of 5. I mean, it was good. Absolutely. We didn't have any issues. Shout out to Joe's dog.
Not my dogs. I'm dog sitting currently. Actually.
Oh, there you go.
Shout out to dog sitting dogs.
Yes.
We love them. We love animals.
Anyway.
Yeah, 4 out of 5. We didn't have any issues parking.
Yeah, same. I didn't have to drive. You were driving, right? Like, you had taken back over to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was a hop, skip, and a jump once you even get out. Like, you didn't have to go like forever down the road to actually get there.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, 4 out of 5 seems about right.
Yeah, I said it was pretty simple, but obviously I didn't know where we were, so like but it seemed pretty simple, and I wasn't driving either. I was probably sleeping in the back.
You were.
Like you said, yeah, it's like all of a sudden we were nowhere, but then we were boom downtown.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. You pull up on it very, very suddenly. Not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that's Cleveland. The Country Music Hall of Fame's right there. Yep. There's a lot of stuff, which I mean we'll get to. Yeah,
exactly. And again, that's not what I put. It's not a knock that it was kind of came out of nowhere. And parking, like we said, right at the arena, which is clutch. Seemingly people were walking from all over the place though too. So I can imagine there's more garages elsewhere, or maybe there's a lot somewhere. Or maybe people just Ubered in. That could obviously be that thing too. But again, being so centrally located, I feel like, again, when we were in seemingly nowhere and then boom downtown, I feel like that drive in or Uber in is probably not that bad either.
It definitely could have been a lot worse. And exiting wasn't a hemorrhoid either.
No, and I think glad you brought that up. I think it's key to have a lot of parking at the arena for out of town people too, like us coming from Virginia Beach, Hampton, Virginia. So accessibility, I actually gave this a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was very accessible to get to Bridgestone Arena.
I can't argue with that.
Let's go outside. Outside, what the vibe was outside.
Word the F up.
Yes.
Dude. So immediately.
Party atmosphere is what I put.
Just 1,000%.
Party atmosphere, and immediately, Corey and I have been grumpy old men about the Nashville Predators existing.
Absolutely.
And immediately, I'm like, I can't believe how excited I am to be here. And immediately, I'm seeing sweaters everywhere. I'm like, oh my God, I like the Predator sweaters. What's going on here?
Dude, we were wrong. Yeah. As we were walking in.
And like, I was immediately geeked up to go to this game more than I was just on the drive in, just the fact that we were going to see hockey.
Right.
I was just like, not only are we going to see hockey, we're going to see hockey in Nashville, where these people, it's clear they love the squad. It's just everything going on right around the arena.
I put the whole entire downtown seemed ready to F and go. Like,
dude,
as we came out of the garage and walked across the street, it was like, everybody's wearing their sweaters, not even necessarily all Pred sweaters. Like we saw multiple different sweaters being worn, which is great too. So they support the Mustard Cats, even though, they kind of always sucked.
Yeah.
Except I would say they haven't always sucked, but they've always been either on the cusp or they've been terrible.
Right. I mean,
they haven't been like consistently good, make the playoffs, make a good run. It's like, on the cusp, we made it, get destroyed. We're not very good. Hey, we're on the cusp. Oh my gosh, we're in the finals.
Here's Faith Hill and Carrie Underwood. It was definitely, I say, atmosphere. 5 out of 5 for sure. I mean, that was arguably the most enjoyable and most fun and euphoric part of the experience, was just getting out of Bridgestone and going, wow, like there's a lot of options here to go and enjoy yourself, and you get a vibe of what it's like being in Nashville. Like as we're walking around, I'm like, I could live here. This is a blast. This is a blast, and it wasn't overwhelming. It didn't make you feel, I've never been to New York City, but I can imagine that would probably swallow you or some people. And it was just big enough a city to make you feel like this is a good time, but it wasn't overwhelming.
Yeah,
it was awesome. Everyone around there was no bad vibes. It was a good time.
I think it was just fun. Best way to put it is fun. Like everybody seemed to be having fun. It was like, this is the fun thing we're going to go do on a Saturday afternoon, a matinee game, against the Florida Panthers. Like let's just have fun. So I love that. Like the franchise, those that are in charge have made the franchise, or at least coming to the games, fun.
Yeah,
that's important.
And to that point, though, like, so Corey and I, again, being trying to be the old guys.
Yeah.
Corey's showing up in his Flyer sweater. I'm showing up in my Dev sweater, thinking we're gonna be like, people are
rebellious.
People are gonna be bad. Nah, man. Like we ran into other Devs fans, other Flyers fans, and they're like, what's up?
I got a hug from a random Flyers fan. I was like, hey, you also hate your wife.
So, like, to me, that shows that not only do they love the Predators, they just love hockey.
Yeah.
Which I think that was critically important for me in my experience. And I have to echo Corey's score, 5 of 5 for outside of the arena.
I also put 5 out of 5, and I really loved the Smashville marquee right out in front of the arena too.
Yeah,
that's a
we
great
didn't even
point.
get there. Yeah, like that was cool.
The outside of the arena is beautiful. It's a great setup. You have the Smashville thing, which is great for photo ops, as we got one. It's an impressive barn from the outside.
And just another thing to kind of cap it off on the outside there. Now, granted, I haven't been to all 32 barns yet, but Smashville is the only one thus far that I've seen that has, like, right outside the arena, the camera setup that's like on a big circular loop where they're actually like showing people walking in and doing. I don't know. I haven't. Maybe I'll see that more when I see other barns, but so far that's the only one that's like. It just, to me, adds that party thing. Like, yo, let's get on camera. You want to be able to do a funny face or something? Like, I don't know. It's just fun. It's fun.
It was a good time. They have it at Wells Fargo as well, but it's still
nobody's having fun there. So
no, they're not. It's getting nothing but people that are abusing their liver. They got fun in Nashville.
All right, let's move on to inside.
I like the inside a lot. The inside was a good vibe. It walking around the concourse and the different levels and everything. They had two big. If you're going there for merch, they had two stores. And they were even the smaller one was still a decent size. So
that's what she said. Yeah,
right. I don't think I ate any food, so I can't vouch for the food.
Well, we're not there yet anyway.
Okay.
Just inside in general. I
liked it. It was very bright, very vibrant. I liked the yellow, the mustardy undertones everywhere, the colors. It lets you know that you were in Nashville to watch a Preds game.
To that point, I put it was possibly the brightest barn that I've seen that thus far. Lots of windows to the outside as well, which was cool. So like when we were walking on the other levels, we could just literally look outside, which
exactly.
The only other, when I get to the Florida barns, they have that too. But to this point, like, what is there really to see in Nashville, right? Well, there was a lot to see, actually. You can see the city.
A boatload. Yeah. Exactly.
So I gave the inside 5 out of 5 also.
That's what I was going to go with as well.
Yeah, same. Literally, my only gripe is the dude that tried to lie to you about the mustard cats.
I'm going to get to that, actually. So before we get to history, like you said, I didn't get any food. Well, I got a pizza. Like, so, I mean, what I saw, because I did look at the boards, like the arena seemed pretty basic. So technically I'm giving the arena score low. It's a low score, but Justin, do you have anything to add to that?
No.
Yeah. I mean, I would have expected like some type of barbecue or something at the arena, like something, for instance, I would have expected Hattie Mays at the arena.
Oh yeah,
dude, right?
See, that would have made a difference. But we went to Hattie Mays after, which was some of the best chicken I've ever eaten in my entire life.
It was very good. Very busy.
Yeah,
very busy.
Yeah,
but
if you are in Nashville, you should definitely check out Hattie Mays, but just be prepared to wait.
For sure, but it's worth the wait.
It's definitely worth it. But so for food, I'm giving it 3 out of 5 because technically Hattie Mays, again, just like when I talked about Pittsburgh, it wasn't in the arena, but
sure
we did. It was after the arena adventures, but 3 out of 5 for that because otherwise it was just pretty basic. So why don't we get to the history? Because apparently the Mustard Cats won back-to-back championships in 17 and 18.
Yes, they did.
But yeah, I don't really recall a lot of history actually being displayed in that barn. Other than I think there was some sweaters, but there wasn't really a lot of even like their cup run.
Right, there wasn't.
The finals, there wasn't really any memorabilia of that. But the guy in the big shop, he did say, these are the sweaters that they wore when they won back-to-back. He didn't say Stanley Cup. He didn't even know what it was called. Back-to-back championships, he called it.
Yeah.
Is that right? Interesting. So you're telling me that in 16 and 17, before the reverse retros were a thing, they were wearing the reverse retros. Okay.
Yeah, when they won those 2 championships.
Yeah. But because that was funny, I gave history a 2 out of 5 because that was funny.
That feels about right.
Yeah. You hate to give them a knock because they don't have any, but also they don't have any. So it's like
really don't.
There's things that have happened that have happened in Nashville that they should be celebrating.
Right. Like, and even having PK Subban.
Yeah. Paul Correa, anything.
There you go. So I will say that, and maybe we missed it, it's very possible, that because of the history of the Cats, knowing that allegedly they found a saber-toothed tiger tooth when they were making the dig for the arena, that's where the Cats name came from. But I feel like that should have been displayed somewhere. Maybe there was, we missed it. But anyway, moving on to community, the last one, I loved that there seemed to be a plethora of places to pregame. Obviously, we're in downtown Nashville. We found out this after the game when we walked down Broad Street or Broadway, whatever it was. But there are so many places to go. Well, even when we walked to the arena, like there was multiple rooftop bars, loud people and having a great time. So I love there's plenty of places to go pregame and postgame. The streets were literally littered with people. Like you couldn't even walk 2 feet without bumping into somebody. And not only people, like we talked about, people wearing other sweaters, but there was like 90% Preds gear too. So they love that team. I don't know why, but they do. Maybe it's just because Nashville's fun too. So for community, I gave that a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, dude.
Likewise.
Absolutely. 5 out of 5. It was just a pleasure to be around. And we sort of alluded to this at that point of the season. Like that was a week before the trade deadline where they sold everything off.
Yeah.
They were not going anywhere. Like they made a brief push like after like going towards the end of the season, but they technically speaking had nothing to cheer for. But they did. They showed up, and I mean, they won 7-3 that day. And
they were playing the Florida Panthers at that point.
Yeah. But like the biggest come away is the thing that I hated the most after the first goal became the thing that like I loved the most about all of it. Was
you liked it, you loved it, you wanted some more of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, like that goal horn was the coolest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
was a blast. And how can you go wrong with Tim McGraw swinging a huge fish?
Well, you can't.
For everybody to enjoy. Yeah. Don't know what it is about that Predator scoring.
No, but I like it.
I love it. And absolutely, I want more of it.
So Bridgestone Arena of Nashville gets a 25 out of 30.
Ooh, you love to see it.
Yeah.
A step behind Pittsburgh, but you still love to see it.
Yeah, if only you had a little history, Nashville.
I know.
Yeah, it would have put you over the top there. So moving on, I took a little trip towards the end of the season, at the end of March to Florida, and the first stop that I made was to FLA Live in Sunrise, Florida, to see the Florida Panthers, as we just spoke about. When we watched them get beat 7-3 in Nashville.
Yeah.
So it was they were playing the Chicago Blackhawks, so I wasn't expecting much. And at this point, they hadn't really started to make their push yet either. So they were still out of the playoffs. They weren't doing great. But I was like, all right, let's go. So accessibility to the arena. So like, again, I love a huge parking lot, as we talked about from like PNC. So FLA Live has a huge parking lot. Like when you get there, like there's so many places to park. So that's great. And it wasn't, they didn't have like attendance. You had to like a little bit of a knock is like you had to know beforehand to download an app to buy your parking pass. But thankfully I got my tickets through Ticketmaster and they sent me an email. So it was pretty simple. But if you didn't know that, like when you pull in, it gives you like the instructions to download the app and stuff. So like that could be a pain in the butt, but I mean, accessibility, it's secluded from like the city of Sunrise, which is close to Miami, but it is kind of secluded and out there. So there isn't necessarily a whole lot to do before or after. You're going to have to, either Uber or drive. Right. But I do give it a 5 out of 5 because it was right off the interstate. Like I said, super easy to park. And I love a big parking lot. And I hate parking garages because for whatever reason, it's easier for me to remember in a huge open lot where I am with like large numbers saying what lot you're in, than being in a parking garage. You remember what level am I on and what tiger space am I in?
Yeah, right. Just take me to D3.
Yeah,
exactly. So accessibility gets a 5 out of 5 for FLA Arena. Going to outside, dude. FLA is a party, legit. There was cornhole out there, kids mini games outside there with like a tent where they can shoot pucks. There was like a little shooting range for like a cardboard goalie gimmick. There was a PS5 setup with NHL 2K23. There was, like I said, shoot a puck. There was vendors with free samples of drinks. Like I said, PS5. A blow up panther, like you could take how they when they enter like from the benches to start the game, like walking through. They had that outside too that you could do like pictures and stuff. It was the walk up from the lower level of the parking lot. Then they had this massive blow up chair thing, and then they had a live band playing too.
Nice.
Why not?
And you know what they were playing, Justin? They were playing hits like rock hits, pop punk hits. And more upbeat country hits. Like they were jamming. It was a party, guys. I absolutely loved that. 5 out of 5 for the outside for FLA.
Right on.
You guys did it right. Here's an awesome thing about the Florida Panthers. Inside, first and third level was super open, easy to walk through. And this, we'll kind of put a pin in this because I'll go back to a couple of the other arenas that I didn't think about it at the time. But easy to walk through, and just super open, super fun. And they have, I'm going to pair this up with history. And I sent you guys these pictures too. There is so much history of the Florida Panthers in FLA Live, a team that has never actually won anything. There is so much history here. They have all of their sweaters from inception till present. Not only that, like all of the side quest sweaters, AHL teams, ECHL teams, WHL teams, OHL teams, like all of their affiliates, all of those sweaters displayed all over the place. Also, history of guys, obviously like our boy Jaromir Jagr. Luongo. They had all these like things with past history, which is crazy, again, for a team that has never won anything. But they had more history than any of these other barns that we've talked about, which, that's pretty wild to me. Not only that, like photos and descriptions of stuff too. So 5 out of 5 for history. Inside gets a 4 out of 5 because the second level was literally bare and boring. So you kind of lost me there, with the first and third level being super open, super fun, a lot of things to see. Middle level was like, where's my meat for my sandwich?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Where's the meat?
Where's
Bread
the
sandwich.
Ed Jovanovski?
Where's the meat? So they lost a little bit on there. Food was nothing out of the ordinary for Florida. Your basic chicken tenders and fries, burgers, pizza. So you only got a 1 for me there because you had food. The community at FLA, fans were rowdy, which is crazy to see because they were playing the Blackhawks. They were not a great team at that point, and the Blackhawks obviously are the Blackhawks. But it was a packed barn. Crowd was rowdy for them, which is cool to see. Same thing, like I said, with the outside, tailgates were going on there too. Not as much as in Carolina, but they were. There was some tailgates going on, and not really anyone seemingly close. What did I say? Close to pregame, but that doesn't affect it terribly. I'm not sure what I meant for that. It doesn't matter. But community gets 5 out of 5.
Yeah, nice.
Well, I also forgot to mention in FLA they have it is on the second level, but obviously in the arena they have a whole dance area with cheerleaders, a dance team, and they do like dance team breaks. Which
there we go.
It's a fun thing, right?
Yeah,
Give us something to do in between commercial breaks, right?
Yeah.
Look at this dance team doing dance stuff, doing backflips and stuff. That's cool. So FLA Live Arena in Sunrise, Florida gets a 25 out of 30.
Oh, very nice.
Right there with Bridgestone.
Tied with Smashville. If only they could have bumped up a couple of things, They could have overtaken Pittsburgh. I'll save this for the end. Moving on to the final barn, because obviously the next day I drove to Tampa Bay to see the Tampa Bay Lightning at Amalie Arena. And they also played the Blackhawks because the Blackhawks were back-to-back. Also, the Blackhawks took Florida to overtime, but then they lost in overtime. Florida wins in overtime with like a couple seconds left. So that was fun.
Yeah, Ice Cats.
Yeah. Moving to Amalie Arena. Accessibility. The arena is right in downtown, and you can get there right from the interstate, which is great, but parking is an atrocious act to try to do. Like, if I knew where I was going, it probably would have been better, but obviously I didn't know, and nothing was clearly marked. So it was terrible trying to get to the arena and park. I drove around for probably 20 minutes trying to find where to park. But at the same time, I do feel like it's a typical big city downtown parking situation. Like, you just have to know where to go, right? Or put the right thing in your GPS and you can find it. But I did end up like talking to a cop who was directing traffic. I was like, where can I park? And he's like, if you go right up the road there, turn right into that Embassy Suites, they'll valet for you. I'm like, all right, cool. So I did get valet parked. It was $20, but that's not terrible.
Did you throw your keys at him?
I did not. I handed them nicely because he was dealing with my vehicle.
I like a nice little underhanded toss, not a threatening one.
Right. Here you go, bud.
Yeah.
Accessibility 3 out of 5, just because, again, I mean, maybe that's more on me because I didn't know where I was going, but I feel like you should have clearly marked things, especially for a big attraction like going to a hockey game,
Right.
The outside. So there were so many statues outside. John Cooper's got a statue.
I hate that guy.
I know. There was huge marquees too. Like, I forget exactly what they say. I have to look at my pictures, but it had like the typical faces: Stamkos, Vasilevsky, Hedman. Just big marquees on the arena, which is pretty cool. I think.
Yeah.
Just big inviting arena. Huge walk-up gates. It almost seems like you're walking into a castle in a way.
Okay.
They probably did that on purpose, so that's fun. It did seem like it was a big deal that I was walking into this place. So I like that. Like, yeah, let me know this is a big deal. Let me know that, this squad is the squad, even though we
make it feel like a cathedral.
Yeah, exactly. So outside there seemed like there was a stage for a band to play, but I did get there a little bit late, so I don't know if they stopped playing or what. So I don't know for sure, but maybe it was fun before I got there, but when I got there, everybody was starting to go inside, but it was still
maybe it was the Blackhawks.
Yeah, exactly. But nothing going on other than like they had pop-up bar areas outside. So it definitely, I was a little bit sour considering I was just in FLA the day before and there was such a party feel.
Right.
This did not have that. So, but 3 out of 5 for the outside. Did I say 3 out of 5 for accessibility, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So moving to the inside, dude. Okay. I'm going to go to the third level first because that's where my seats were. The third level in Amalie Arena is so unbelievably cramped. Like, there's so many places to get something to eat or drink, but those areas come out so far, right? And then the arena to walk to your seat also comes out so far. So literally, if you're watching this right now, you can see how tiny that space is. Try fitting, how many people can fit on the third level? Let's say 10,000.
Yeah. Several hundred folks having to pee.
Like, it's so cramped trying to get through there. And like, being somebody that is always on a mission, I'm like, just get the F out of my way, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were so many people standing around. Like, it's so cramped. So that definitely takes a hit for me because why would you have the where the most people are going to be the third level? Why wouldn't you have that be more open? That is
bizarre.
Terrible design for me. So
poor architecture.
Architecture. The walkway is so narrow for a lot of traffic. Going down to the second level, club level is fine. I could actually get on the club level. Nobody carded me or anything like that. Said, get out of here, punk. Lots of suites, lots of bar area, lots of places to sit and chill, and a big rooftop outdoor area as well, like for smokers and stuff. Mingling, whatever. That's what people do, I guess, talk to strangers. I don't know. So the second level is fine. I did get a little turned around. It's kind of like a maze up there. So I kind of lost my way, but I figured it out. And then the first floor is way more open, huge areas to sit and actually watch the game, though. So, like, you have obviously your first level where you walk down to your seats, but there's huge areas like couches and stuff where you can just chill and watch the game from there, too, which is also a good seat, which is kind of cool, I thought. If you don't want to sit in your little teeny tiny seat, you can just sit on the couch, rub elbows with a stranger, you know, if you want to do that.
Hey.
But you could be, it's almost like 10 rows up. Like you're only about 10 rows off the ice and you can watch the game from there. Had I known this, I would have actually probably watched the game from down there and not. I mean, third level was great. Like my seats were great. But if I'd known, because I got there late. So I went right up to my seats, walked around the third level, sat down, game started. First intermission, I went down to the suite level, walked around, back to my seats. Second intermission, I went down to the first level, and then I hung out there for the third period. So
the cup sounds like a cool deal, though. That's a good little little nugget.
It's pretty cool, actually. I really dug it. I got to give props to them. But so inside gets a 3 out of 5, mostly because of that third level being so cramped. Okay. Food. They actually had poutine, pork tacos, Dippin' Dots, cheesesteaks, and sweet potato tater tots.
Wow.
I did
Yeah, that's crazy in Tampa. Those things of all places.
So 5 out of 5 for food there. Like they stole the show on the food tour here. Like I did not expect poutine to be in Tampa Bay. Like
anytime poutine's involved, automatic 5 out of 5.
I mean, obviously the Canadians are in charge down there at Amalie Arena, so we're here for it.
Yeah, for real.
For real. I'm going to save history for last. Community. So the community here at Amalie, like I was so happy to see. Number one, they were hyped, and it looked like it was a sellout there to play the Blackhawks.
Yeah,
not to mention that, right? And it was really cool to see. There was literally across the board, every single demographic you could imagine was at this game, wearing a sweater or wearing a shirt, a cap, a sweatband, but repping the squad, right? And we'll say what we will about Tampa Bay, like whatever, but it was so cool to see literally so many demographics of people that don't look like me loving the game of hockey. And then not only that, but they're repping the squad. Like, dude, I love that. And NHL, maybe take a couple pointers like hockey.
Yeah, really.
Everyone is supposed to be.
Yeah, you know? Exactly.
So Tampa Bay is doing it right. So shout out to that. So not really sure what the pre-post party situations were in Tampa because I had to drive back to get home in time for a Sunday concert that I had that night. So I had to leave right after the game. But 5 out of 5 for community. History. Okay. How many, just a question for the audience here. How many Stanley Cups have the Tampa Bay Lightning won in their entirety?
2, right?
3.
3? Oh, yeah.
Where they beat Calgary, and it should have been the Flyers against the Flames, but anyway.
Okay, yeah. So they've won 3 cups, right? So there should be like a whole lot of stuff in Amalie Arena about those 3 cups, shouldn't there?
You'd think, especially since 2 were recent.
Yeah, you would think so. Yeah, there's not. They have down in that first level where I was talking about the couch area. They have like a trophy case, right, with all the awards that have been won, team and individual, right? Okay, that's cool. There is like 5 photos of championship of them winning their championships. There are 3 championships. There's like 5.
Weird.
Wow.
And they're not in a row. Like they're just kind of like bing, bing, bing. That's it. They're not spread out. There isn't like jersey sweaters. There's not. It is the worst Stanley Cup celebrating that I've seen. I mean, and I'm actually even putting this above DC, who doesn't really have anything at all. Like for winning back-to-back cups and for having 3 in total, you should have so much memorabilia and stuff about you winning these 3 Stanley Cups. So it leaves a lot to be desired. I'm giving it a 2 out of 5 because, they have the trophy case, and that's the only one that I saw. That's kind of cool, but dude.
No life-size replicas of Marty St. Louis. That's disappointing.
Martin, do better. Yeah,
no love for Vazzy? Like, come on.
No love for Vazzy, do better. Do better, honestly. So 2 out of 5 for that, which leaves a total of 21 out of 30 for Tampa Bay. So that means that Pittsburgh right now is the best barn with 26 out of 30.
Wow. That
was the barn tour.
Yeah, that's gross, but like that's the experience. What can you say?
Yeah, I'm determined to make your experience at Wells Fargo better than PPG because they make paints in Pittsburgh.
I'm here for it.
So, well, to that point, we need to get on the penalty kill here because this was supposed to be a 30-minute.
It's supposed to be real quick, but
it's supposed to be real quick.
Boy's a doctor, so
I think next week we will expound on this thought. This is how we're going to get out of here. I think, though, I pulled out a couple dates because we're going to do another roadie this year. So I pulled out a couple dates. We can think about these dates and we can examine the schedule release a little bit more and come up with more of a conversation for next week. But I got October the 12th, the Kraken visit Nashville. So that would that'd be a hike, but it would be cool to see the Kraken play the Preds. That would be neat. November 19th, the defending Stanley Cup champion Vegas Golden Knight visit Philadelphia to play the Flyers.
Hey,
so November, that would be pretty cool.
I'd be into that.
In January, we have Vancouver going to Buffalo and Tampa going to Buffalo. That's January 13th and 20th, respectively. So that's back-to-back weekends.
Buffalo would be fun.
And that's definitely an arena I want to go to. I also have the Sens are going to be in Raleigh October 11th. So that would be fun to see the Sens and Canes.
Yeah, like I said, I do want to go back to PNC so I can actually
I definitely want to go there too.
Yeah, I'd love to go on a Whalers night.
Yeah, dude, that would be fucking cool. Effing cool.
Yeah, bleeping cool. Bleeping cool.
It's all right.
Then the Sharks are going to be in Raleigh October 27th.
Ooh.
So that was the last one I took down. I also noticed that the Preds are going to be in Raleigh for a preseason game in either late September or early October. I was thinking about going to that.
That would be sweet.
Can't imagine tickets are
too
much.
I don't even care if it's preseason games either. Like whatever.
Hockey's hockey.
Yeah, I want to go. So. But there we go. So if you're watching this, let us know which one you think we should go to. We're gonna ruminate on it, and then we'll discuss at great length next year's hockey roadie. I think that's next week's show.
Absolutely.
And also, if you've been to one or multiple barns, leave that in the comments of what your favorite one is as well. Or you can chirp us at Barn Chirpers Pod, and let us know what your favorite barn is, even if it's one we talked about.
I think as we do these too, as we get more and more roadies under our belt, I think a cool list to do would be like the best players we've seen in person type of deal.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Sure. That would be cool too. Officer Bob, not one of them.
Yeah, no, exactly. He did good after we saw him and then regressed to the mean.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it'd be like that sometimes.
It does be like that sometimes. So cool. All right, boys. Well, we'll take a breather here, and we'll talk to everybody next week. So stick taps and sellies, boys.
Clap it up.
Yeah.
Clap it up, boys.
Broadcast. End it.